Hey you. Yes, you. Standing in your kitchen, opening that fridge for the third time today. Hold on a second. Before you put anything else in there, we need to talk. Because if you're a senior, or you love someone who is, this one small habit could be affecting your health, your nutrition, and the way your food tastes. And I get it. We were all taught the same thing growing up, right? Keep it fresh, toss it in the fridge. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Some foods actually go bad faster when you refrigerate them. And others, they lose the very nutrients your body needs most right now. So today, I'm going to walk you through 9 everyday foods you should never refrigerate, especially if you're over 60. Not to scare you, but to empower you. Because knowing how to store your food properly can make a real difference in how you feel. We'll talk about flavor, nutrition, brain health, digestion, and maybe a few stories along the way. Because this isn't just about what's in your fridge. It's about preserving what matters, your health, your memories, and the simple joy of a good meal. Let's get into it. Part 1. Tomatoes. Why they taste like nothing in the fridge. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you bit into a tomato and thought, that tastes like summer? Now be honest. Was it fresh and juicy? Or cold and kind of meh? If it was the second one, the fridge might be to blame. Here's the truth. Tomatoes hate the cold. Once you pop them into the fridge, the chill damages the delicate enzymes that give them flavor and texture. You'll end up with a sad, grainy, flavorless tomato that tastes like, well, nothing. And that's not just a food issue. It's a health one. Tomatoes are packed with lycopene, an antioxidant that supports heart health and even reduces the risk of certain cancers. But cold temps mess with the ripening process that helps bring out lycopene's full power. And if you're over 60, when taste starts to fade and nutrition matters more than ever, you can't afford to waste either. So here's the fix. Keep tomatoes on the counter, stem side down to preserve freshness. Let them ripen naturally, and then enjoy them when they're bursting with flavor. Only refrigerate them if they're already sliced, and even then, just for a day or two. My grandma used to grow tomatoes in her backyard. She'd never put them in the fridge. She said, "A cold tomato's a dead tomato." She was right. Part 2. Bread, the silent killer of sandwich. Joy. Okay, let's talk about something sacred. Bread. Is there anything more comforting than a warm slice of bread? Maybe slathered with butter, dipped in soup, or toasted just right. But here's a fact that might surprise you. The fridge is the worst place you can put your bread. I know, it sounds wrong. Maybe you were told it keeps mold away. But what it really does is suck the moisture out, fast. Bread stales in the fridge because the starch molecules go through a process called retrogradation. That's just a fancy way of saying they harden up. You get bread that's dry, chewy, and dull. And if you're a senior, that texture can be a real problem. Harder to chew, harder to swallow, and frankly, less enjoyable. You deserve better than fridge-ruined toast. Here's the fix. Keep what you'll eat in a few days in a bread box or cloth bag on the counter. And if you have extra, slice it and freeze it. Toast what you need. No waste, no sadness. My grandfather called bread a humble miracle. And honestly, I still think about that when I take a warm piece out of the toaster. Let's not rob it of that magic. Part 3. Garlic. Keep the vampires out, but also the mold. Now this one's sneaky. Garlic. It's powerful, it's healing, and it makes every dish come alive. But put it in the fridge? You might as well kiss those benefits goodbye. Cold, humid air makes garlic sprout faster. You'll see green shoots popping out of the cloves. And while those sprouts aren't poisonous, they do taste bitter and have less of the good stuff, like allicin, the compound that helps lower blood pressure and cholesterol. Worse, refrigeration can lead to mold and even toxins developing, especially in peeled garlic. And the last thing anyone, especially a senior with a sensitive stomach or compromised immune system, needs is spoiled garlic hidden in their dinner. And let's be real, garlic isn't just for seasoning. For many cultures, it's a symbol of strength, vitality, even protection. Let's treat it like the treasure it is. Here's the fix. Store your garlic bulbs in a cool, dry, well-ventilated space. A wire basket or a paper bag in your pantry works beautifully. Don't peel it until you need it, and when you do, use it fresh. I once watched my mom make soup when she had a cold. She crushed garlic with the side of a knife like she was fighting off a curse. And honestly, it worked. That soup saved me more than once. Part 4. Potatoes. How the fridge can turn them toxic. Let's move on to something most of us definitely have in the kitchen. Potatoes. Simple, classic, reliable. But did you know that storing them in the fridge doesn't just make them taste weird? It could actually make them toxic? Here's the deal. When you refrigerate potatoes, the cold turns their starches into sugar. Then when you cook them, especially by frying or roasting, those sugars react with an amino acid to form acrylamide. That's a chemical linked to nerve damage, inflammation, and even increased cancer risk. And that risk? It matters even more as we age. Our bodies aren't as resilient, and we're more sensitive to what we eat. A simple baked potato shouldn't turn into a health hazard. Plus, let's talk taste. Potatoes that have been cold stored get sweet in a weird way. You roast them expecting savory, but bite in and, why does this taste like a burnt cookie? Here's the fix. Store your potatoes in a cool, dark cupboard, not in the fridge, and definitely not in plastic bags. Paper or mesh bags work best, and keep them away from onions. They make each other spoil faster. My dad used to say, you can live off potatoes if you know how to cook them right. He made the best mashed potatoes I've ever had. Let's store them right so we keep both the taste and the health. Part 5. Honey, nature's forever food. Doesn't need a fridge. Next up is one of the most magical foods we have, honey. And I'll say this clearly. Honey does not belong in the fridge. Ever. Why? Because honey is naturally antibacterial. It doesn't spoil. It doesn't rot. It's literally been found still good in ancient Egyptian tombs. Put it in the fridge, and it starts to crystallize, turning gritty, cloudy, and hard to scoop. But it's not bad. It's just confused. Cold temps mess with honey's texture and aroma. And for seniors, honey can be more than just sweet. It can be soothing, too. It helps coat a sore throat. It's easier to digest than sugar. And for many, it's a gentle source of energy when appetite is low. Here's the fix. Keep honey in a tightly sealed jar in a cupboard, away from direct light and heat. If it crystallizes, just place the jar in warm water for a few minutes and stir gently. My mother used to say honey was like love, pure, strong, and it never went bad. I keep a jar by the stove and another in my tea tin. It's more than a sweetener, it's comfort. Part 6. Stone fruits. Let them ripen with dignity. Now let's talk about something soft, fragrant, and fleeting. Stone fruits. Peaches, plums, apricots. Nectarines. If you've ever bitten into a hard, flavorless peach and wondered, why does this taste like disappointment? Chances are, it was stored too cold. Refrigeration stops the ripening process in its tracks. What you're left with is fruit that looks ripe on the outside, but is rubbery, sour, or flavorless inside. These fruits are meant to ripen at room temperature, slowly, beautifully. That's when they become what they were born to be: sweet, juicy, and loaded with nutrients. And for seniors, stone fruits are full of fiber, antioxidants, and hydration, all incredibly important for digestion, skin, and energy. But if they're eaten underripe, that fiber can actually irritate your gut instead of helping it. Here's the fix. Leave them on the counter until they're soft and fragrant. Then, if you really must, you can pop them in the fridge for a day or two to slow them down, but not before. My neighbor growing up had a peach tree. When they were ripe, she'd put a few on the windowsill and say, "They'll tell you when they're ready." I used to sit there and just smell them. It's one of those memories that never left me. Part 7. Coffee. Don't let the fridge steal its soul. All right, this one's for the morning people, and even more so for the ones who need a little help becoming morning people. Coffee. If you're storing your ground coffee or beans in the fridge, I hate to break it to you. You're doing your cup a disservice. Coffee is highly absorbent, like a sponge for moisture and smells. So when you stick it in the fridge, next to the onions, leftover stew, and a wedge of cheese, your coffee ends up tasting like a weird, soggy pantry. Plus, the cold creates condensation inside the packaging every time you open it. That moisture breaks down the natural oils that give coffee its rich flavor and aroma. And if you're over 60, that warm morning ritual might be more than a habit. It might be one of the few grounding, comforting routines in your day. A bad cup doesn't just taste off. It can start your whole morning on the wrong note. Here's the fix. Keep your coffee, whole bean or ground, in an airtight, opaque container stored in a cool, dark place. If you buy in bulk, freeze the extra beans, but only in sealed bags, and never take them in and out repeatedly. My grandfather used to say, "The smell of coffee in the morning is the smell of hope." He didn't just drink it, he respected it. Let's not let the fridge water it down. Part 8. Cucumbers. More water than a water bottle, but handle with care. Now, here's a refreshing little curveball. Cucumbers. They seem like they belong in the fridge, right? I mean, they're crisp, cool, and made up of over 90% water. But that's exactly why the fridge can ruin them. Cold air causes cucumbers to soften and become watery with weird pitting in the skin. You think you're biting into something crunchy, and instead it's mushy, limp, and flavorless. Not exactly the snack you were hoping for. And let's not forget, cucumbers are a hydrating superfood, perfect for seniors who need help staying hydrated without adding sugar or calories. They're great for digestion, gentle on the stomach, and easy to chew. But only if they're stored right. Here's the fix. Wrap whole cucumbers in a paper towel and place them in a loose plastic or reusable bag in the crisper drawer. Or better yet, keep them in a cool pantry or on the counter and eat them within a few days. In my mom's garden, cucumbers were everywhere in the summer. She used to put them in vinegar and onions for lunch, and they always crunched, always. If it bends, it's been in the fridge too long. Part 9. Bananas. A gentle fruit that hates the cold. And finally, let's talk about something soft, sweet, and too often misunderstood. Bananas. Bananas hate the cold. Put them in the fridge too early, and the peel turns black almost overnight. People think, oh no, they've gone bad. But inside, they're still fine, just confused by the cold. But here's the kicker. Refrigerating unripe bananas stops the ripening process, which means they'll never develop that soft, sweet taste and creamy texture. Instead, you're stuck with a chalky banana that tastes like cardboard. For older adults, bananas are gold, easy to digest, high in potassium, great for blood pressure and muscle health, gentle on teeth, stomach, and energy levels, but only when ripe. Here's the fix. Let bananas ripen on the counter, just like nature intended. Once they're golden with freckles, then you can refrigerate them to slow down spoilage, or peel and freeze them for smoothies or baking. My dad ate a banana every morning, sliced into his cereal with a little cinnamon on top. Even when his hand shook, he could peel one. It was simple and soft, and full of strength. Conclusion. Closing reflections. You know, food is more than just food. It's memory. It's comfort. It's connection. It's the smell of garlic on your fingers after making Sunday sauce. It's the warmth of fresh bread, shared with someone you love. It's peeling a banana for your grandchild the way your father once did for you. But somewhere along the way, in the rush of modern convenience and clever appliances, we forgot that not everything belongs in the fridge. And especially as we age, when digestion slows, senses dull, and nutrition becomes more important than ever, these small decisions can make a big difference. So if today you found yourself thinking, wait, I've been storing that wrong this whole time, you're not alone. We've all done it, but now you know better. And that means you can eat better, feel better, and maybe even taste a little more joy again. Because every meal is a chance to take care of yourself. Every bite is a chance to feel connected to your body, your past, and the people you love. Call to action. Let's keep the conversation going. Now it's your turn. Tell me in the comments. What's one food your parents or grandparents never put in the fridge? What are your kitchen memories? I'd love to read them, and so would the rest of this beautiful community. If this video helped you, give it a like. It really does support the channel. And if you want more videos like this, more heart, more health, more real talk, subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And hey, if you know someone, especially a sweet aunt, your grandpa, or your best friend, who still puts tomatoes in the fridge, go ahead and share this with them. They'll thank you later.